Hello, my little yarnivores and spiderettes. Fiber Spider back again with another tutorial just for you. And today I have got another late and great one by Purpleiguana on Ravelry. You know I love her patterns, and this is no exception because, like most of her patterns, it is so easy. It's just a 2-row repeat. Really simple. It's one of those patterns that you can work on and really not have to agonize too much over the pattern, which you know I love. This one is called the Easy Breezy Shawl, and yes, it is true to its name. And this piece absolutely loved working on with the red heart ombre, which I thought was perfect. Actually, this yarn was donated to me by my good friend Russ. Thank you very much, Russ. And this is, like I said, the Red Heart Super Saver Ombre in the colorway of Cocoa. Very seasonally appropriate, I might add. And also, by the way, these skeins, in case if you're not familiar with them, are, let me see, 482 yards. And I used one and most of the second one. So if you want a good sized shawl, you're going to need more than one, I'm afraid. Now, also I used, for this particular piece, I used a size J, if it'll focus, a size J 6mm hook. You can use, of course, whatever works best for you. In the pattern, she suggests using mandala, which is a bit thinner, and a size H 5-point-millimeter hook. But, by all means, you can use whatever works for you. And as always, I'm not sponsored, but I like to let you know what it is that I use so that you can duplicate the results. Another thing that I did notice is that the top edge does not quite lay entirely flat. However, that is not a problem, and I'll show you. I'm just going to scooch this down here. Yeah, top edge doesn't quite lay flat, which you'll see also in the intro-outro photo, but that is not a problem because even though it has a bit of an arch to it, you can fold that down and it makes a really nice collar for your shawl. Just putting it out there, that's my little personal tidbit right there. So without further ado, let's get started. All right, row 1. And I'm still going to be using my size J 6mm hook, and actually I'm using the leftover of my ombre for this tutorial. And so we're going to start. Now you could use, the magic ring method, etc., but I like to march to the beat of my own bongos, right? Well, so we're going to start by chaining up 4. That first chain is going to act as our magic ring, and then chain up 3 to act as our first double crochet. Then into that first chain, 3 more double crochets, and that's going to act as our first grouping of 4 double crochets. There we go. So our first chain is going to hold everything, and then our chaining up of 3 is our first double crochet, then 3 more double crochets, then chain 2, and 4 more double crochets into that first chain. And you can cinch that closed later on, so do not worry. I know it looks rather open and wonky, but you can fix that later. It's like a drawstring. It's very convenient like that. And I'll just tighten that up just to show you. See? Easy peasy. And you can sew in the end at any point. So that is, quite simply, the end of row 1. 4 double crochets, chain 2, 4 double crochets. And like I said, you can work that into a magic ring, or say a chaining of 4, slip stitch to the first chain to create a ring, and then build up thereafter. Okay? Just like you would, say, with a granny square. All right, so that's row 1. Row 2. So At the beginning of the row, we're going to start by chaining up 3, 1, 2, and 3, turn the work, and into this first same stitch, work another double crochet. So we have, technically speaking, 2 double crochets in the first double crochet. Then chain 1, skip the next stitch going into the next double crochet, because we technically have 4. We're in the first, so skip the second, going into the third with a double crochet, chain 1, and then into the center spine we need to do a shell. And a shell is 2 double crochets, chain 2, 2 double crochets into this space right here. So 2 doubles, chain 2, and 2 doubles. All right, and that is our shell. Then chain 1 and skip this this stitch right here going into the next with a double, chain 1, and then skipping the next double crochet going into the first chain with 2 double crochets, because we started with 2, we need to end with 2. And now this is the only really tricky one because it's at the very beginning, but if you turn it ever so slightly and work underneath both of your loops, you can do it. Just remember, breathe. Oxygen is your friend, my dears. Alrighty. And there you go. So we've got 2 doubles, chain 1, a double, chain 1, 2 doubles, chain 2, 2 doubles, chain 1, a double, chain 1, 2 doubles. All right, and that is the end of row 2. Okay, row 3. So row 3 and 4 are the repeats for this project. So it's really that simple. So for row 3, we're going to start by, again, chaining up 3, 1, 2, 3, turn the work, and do a double crochet into that same first stitch. We always do this regardless of what row it is, because we need to increase, at each side and in the middle. So we've got our 2 double crochets initially. Then for this row, it's a solid row. The last one that we did, it was a spaced row. This row, it's going to be a solid row. So we've got our 2 double crochets in the first, and then double crochet, 1 double crochet into each stitch. When you hit a chain space, just do a double crochet into the space, and that works out just fine. You could go within the chain, but that I find to be rather fiddly. You really don't need to. Just go into the space like I did just here. Okay, so continuing on, doing a double crochet per stitch all the way until we reach the center spine. So you see, even where we had our previous row's shell, I'm working into each double crochet and into each double crochet chain space right there and there. Okay, then, so we've reached the chain 2 center spine space. So into there, we're doing another shell. So into that chain 2 space, 2 double crochets, chain 2 and 2 double crochets, always in the center spine. We keep doing this like so, and then Down the other side, we're doing the same thing. A double crochet per double crochet and a double crochet into the chain spaces where applicable. It's that easy. I love it. Do you love it? I love it. And you just need to be aware that at the very beginning and at the very end to be sure to do your 2 double crochets. Otherwise, you will be off on your count, and you don't want that to happen. I've had it happen, and that is kind of a pain in the patoot, but it is such an easy pattern that it's not a huge deal to undo and fix. So you just do your 2 double crochets into the last stitch, and there you go. So this one was 2 in the very first stitch, 1 into each, and then when you reach the center spine, 2 doubles, 2 chains, 2 doubles, always in the center spine, then 1 in each, and then 2 at the very end, like so, and that's the end of row 3. All right, so row 4 is going to be a reflection of the open spaced one that we did in row 2. We'll do that again. Alrighty. All right, row 4. So for row 4, I'm going to start, of course, by chaining up 3, 1, 2, and 3, turn the work, and do another double crochet into the same stitch. And like I said, we need this to be now an open row. So chain 1, skip the next stitch, going to the next with a double, chain 1, skip a stitch, going to the next with a double, chain 1, skip 1, going to the next, chain 1, skip 1, going into the next with a double. And you know that you will have done it right if, when you have this double crochet right here, that you need to skip 1 in order to get into the center spine space. So I did this correctly. It's a good thing. So I chain 1, and then going into the center spine space with 2 doubles, chain 2, and 2 doubles. And of course, also, I am going to post a link in the description box down below where you can find the written pattern. And also, she does have a diagram as well, which I always find to be helpful. So now on the other side, chain 1, skip that first double, going into the next, chain 1, skip 1, go into the next, chain 1, skip 1, going into the next, and we're just doing double crochets, so it's really quite easy. Chain 1, skip 1, going into the next, chain 1, skip 1, into the last, 2 double crochets. Just be sure to go underneath both those little loops right there. So I've got 1 and 2. Ta-da! Love it. And the reason also why I love this is because it creates a very interesting look as far as solid and sort of fillet, if you will. You know, it's not just one solid piece. You know, and I rather like that. You know, it creates some interesting visual appeal. So you know what, we're going to do 2 more of these rows just because I love spending time with you guys. And by then, I think you guys can carry on your own. All right, so let's do 3 and 4 again, shall we? All right, row 3 for the repeat. Start by chaining up 3. Turn the work and double crochet into the same stitch. And this row needs to be a solid row right now. So double crochet into the next double crochet and into the chain space and into the double and into the space. Oops. The yarn does split sometimes, but we shall persevere, right? Into the space and into the double. Now also I imagine that you could create some interesting looks by changing where your spaces are. You know, I did do a while back, actually. It was a filet shawl quite a while ago, but I did do one where I totally encourage you guys to see what you can do about personalizing and customizing and thinking outside of the box, you know. But this one I absolutely love. All right, so I went all the way across with my doubles, and then reaching the center spine into that chain 2 space, 2 doubles, chain 2, and 2 doubles. Okay, and then a double into each stitch and space going across this way. And also, as far as Purpleiguana's patterns, there's another one of hers that I'm currently working on for the sake of a tutorial, which I really like. Started it the other evening, and I've made some excellent progress, and I can't wait to show you. Thinking perhaps that will be next week, actually. So we shall see. Just a little heads up for you. Oops, missed apply. All right, so I'm just going into my chain spaces and into my doubles until I reach the end, and then we'll do a row 4 repeat. But when you're doing your repeats, you would want to end on a row 3. You would want to end on a solid row, which I think it would, you know, make it look a little bit nicer. Now I reached my last double crochet, so I need to do 2 double crochets into this last stitch. Now also I imagine you could do some sort of edging or border for your piece if you want as well. So I've got my 2 doubles into that last stitch, and that's the end of row 3. All right. And oh, I love it. It's so easy. I love it. All right, so we're going to do one more row, and that'll be it for today. Okay, row 4. So for row 4, start by chaining up 3, 1, 2, and 3. Turn the work and do a double crochet into that same first stitch. Chain 1, skip the next stitch, going into the next with a double. And we're going to do this all the way across. Chain 1, skip a stitch, going to the next with a double. Chain 1, skip 1, going to the next. Chain 1, skip 1, going into the next. Chain 1, skip 1, going into the next. Chain 1, skip 1, go into the next. Chain 1, skip 1, going into the next. And like I said before, you know you're doing it right if after doing your last double crochet that the next one you skip and then you end up in the center spine. Then you know you're doing it right. So I'm on the right track, which is always a nice feeling. So just need to chain 1 and then do my shell in the center spine chain 2 space, so that's 2 doubles, chain 2 and 2 doubles, like so, chain 1, skip the next, going into the next with a double, and so on and so forth. Also, I hope, of course, that all of you had a happy and healthy and safe New Year's. I did. I was having a very nice, quiet evening at home, and I resolved not to make any resolutions. If anything, I resolved to keep making more videos and trying to, as I always try to put it, the 3 E's of my channel are to enlighten, educate, and entertain, and that is what I resolved to do. That's my resolution, to keep doing the 3 E's for you guys. That's my resolution. All right, so I am nearly at the end. I did my double crochet, chain 1, and into that last double crochet, 2 double crochets. So if you guys made any New Year's resolutions, or didn't for that matter, let me know in the comments section. I always love hearing from you guys. So that is going to be the end of the tutorial. And this is a really great piece. And when I did it, I was like, wow, this is a lot of fun and it's really simple. And, it's a refreshing change of pace as opposed to the patterns where it's like a 20-row repeat and you have to agonize over it. So anyway, enough of my rambling. I really hope that you enjoyed this tutorial. If so, please give me a little thumbs up button down below to show your support. Please also show your support by hitting the subscribe button, because I do try to post videos as often as I can, whether it's crocheting, knitting, audiobook narration, or video game playthrough and commentary on my other YouTube channel, Fiber Spider Games. Link in the description box. And I would love to see you there too. I need all the help I can get with you guys. So, until next time, I want all of you to stay inspired, stay caffeinated, and above all, stay stitching. I love you guys, and I will continue to see you throughout the new year. Have a great day, and I'll see you soon. Bye for now.